Beard looking good. Okay.
Looking nice? Looking good?
Still
Looking
ready.
nice?
Still ready.
Perfect. Hey, so we're here at the NAB show, and this year we said we'd do things a bit differently. Instead of having a stand and people interviewing us, we're going out and we're interviewing some of the people that influence us to make better videos. And I'm honored to have one of our favorite guys here. This is Matt Johnson.
Yes,
hey,
glad
Matt,
to be
how you
here.
doing?
Dude, so happy.
Good. Matt has over, it's around 170,000 subscribers on YouTube. Matt, for those of our viewers that may have never seen you before or may not have seen your channel before, can you tell us a bit more about your channel and what they can find on it?
Definitely. So I make wedding films, and I make tutorials about how to film wedding films, and camera reviews, and Premiere Pro tutorials, and basically whatever interests me. Mostly it's camera related, though.
Cool. And it may sound like a silly question, but why is it important to film well at a wedding? You know,
It's a one-time event, so there's a lot of pressure. It's definitely not for everybody, because you literally are like, here's your one chance to get this right. Hope you don't screw up. So it's exciting, but it's definitely not like, it takes a special person to be like, okay, I can actually do this. It's going to be okay. But whenever you get it right and you can make something beautiful, it's people's happiest day of their lives.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
that's cool. And your channel has so many great tutorials. It's absolutely hundreds, tons of great tutorials. What made you want to start the channel in the first place? Because the wedding industry, you know, there's not a lot of wedding kind of YouTubers out there. You're at the top of your game doing that. What made you want to start that?
So I've actually been making YouTube videos since 2006.
Wow.
Long stinking time ago,
Yeah.
man. And what's interesting is I was just making random videos, like nothing tutorial related, just like, here's a funny video I made, blah, blah. And I was wondering, like, why wasn't I getting subscribers? I did it for like 9 years like that.
Wow.
And I literally had gained like 7,000 subscribers in that time. It was like nothing. And what's interesting is that I then realized that I really need to be specialized and niche down to something. So I said, okay, I don't want to just make generic YouTube tutorials for filmmakers, because there's 10,000 people on YouTube all trying to make like filmmaking tutorial videos at this point here. You guys make filmmaking tutorial videos, you know what I'm saying? So I said, okay, how can I specialize down? So I began to really focus on just wedding filmmakers, and I tapped into like a big market of wedding filmmakers. And that was really, really cool. And now I'm meeting other people, and they're like, I love you, you're great. I don't even film weddings. So I'm like, okay, cool, that's awesome. So I've been able to help other people too. But like, by having that focus, I was then able to grow.
Yeah. So when we said we were interviewing you, we got quite a lot of great feedback. People saying, oh, I love Matt. I'm starting to get into the wedding game. What are some of the basic tips? What are the basic things people can do to improve their wedding videos if they're just starting out?
Wear comfortable shoes. No, but for real,
That's a good tip.
first wedding I didn't wear comfortable shoes. It was a horrible experience. My goodness, here. I would say the biggest, absolute most important thing is pre-production. And you know, typically that's like in filmmaking, okay, pre-production, you know, like have your script ready. No, like meet with your couple ahead of time. Talk to them about their day. Get a full schedule of the day. Get to know them and why they fell in love. And so the benefit of you doing that is that then on the day, whenever you're this close to them, people that are not used to being on camera, that are not trained actors, they're not weirded out by it. They're instead just like, oh, cool, yeah, what's up, how's it going? And so you get much more natural interactions, and it's not a awkward experience. It's like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So
just making them feel much more comfortable.
Exactly.
I mean, I know I've recently married, and it's a scary day. It's a scary day, and then having the camera there as well.
Yes. And then you don't even remember it because it's goes so fast. And you're like, I'm glad I have a video actually, because I remember nothing of my wedding day. Yeah. That's where you have that.
And so when you first started out, did you hit any big stumbling blocks? Were there any big mistakes that you made that you can remember?
My paranoia prevented me from ever having any disasters like lost footage or something like that, thankfully. But there's still, going back to pre-production, I've had very awkward interactions with people where I didn't know them well enough, and then you make a joke and they're just like, huh, and you're like, oh, never mind, sorry. You know, like, so much of it is building that relationship so that way they know you and then it's not awkward, and that helps out a lot.
And a lot of people I know are a bit scared about budgets, you know, to get their first bit of kit. People think they either need to spend hundreds of thousands or nothing at all. What's your opinion on the budget that you should have to get started if you want to start making wedding films?
I've had so many people reach out to me and they say, oh my gosh, I just spent $10,000 on gear. I'm about to film my first wedding. And I'm like, don't do that. Please don't do that. Because wedding filmmaking is not for everyone. And what you will soon find is that if you buy all this gear and you go in for a wedding, you may hate it. And then you've just wasted all this money. So my advice is always to rent before buying anything really, especially cameras or lenses. There was these set of Zeiss Nikon mount Milvus lenses. I'm like, these are the most beautiful lenses ever. I'm gonna love them. And I bought them and I hated them. Oh, no. And I was like, no, I rented them. Sorry, I rented them. So the benefit is that because I rented, I didn't, I spent $100 on like renting 2 of them for a few days versus spending, I just spent like $5,000 on lenses that I hate.
Wow. That's crazy. You don't want to be doing that when you're starting out. And if you could only take, say, 3 or 4 bits of kit, what are the things that you could leave out? What things would you say you definitely have to take to make the day?
What's interesting is that a lot of my filmmaking, especially with the advent of in-body image stabilization, is handheld. So I'm just running around like with just a basic camera and lens on for a decent majority of the day. I have that and like a glide cam, and that's really all I'm doing for stabilization. If you have like longer lenses, you got a 7200 on, you might want a monopod or something. But really, if I have like a 50 millimeter and my Sony a7S II or an a7 III and audio gear, that's like the big thing. If I had a couple Tascam DR10Ls to make sure I'm recording quality audio on the wedding day, I could do it, and it'd be great.
I think with gimbals as well, people who have never used one before, I think they think you just chuck the camera on top and it's good to go. And it is quite a big setup process sometimes, getting it balanced and can really slow you down.
It's far easier than it was like whenever I bought a glide cam in 2011. I had to learn how to use that, and that was like a 5-6 month learning process of like, okay, I hope I got this right. Once you get it though, it's like, oh, this is easy, this is awesome. But there's definitely a growth there, So yeah.
Okay, great. And just sort of brushing on to the YouTube side of things, obviously you're a very successful YouTuber. You're doing very, very well. What tips would you give to people who maybe not necessarily be getting into the wedding game, but maybe want to start on YouTube? As you said, you started out and you didn't see the growth straight away. What secrets do you have to get that growth? What can you offer?
So going back to initially, the riches are in the niches. So finding your niche, like wedding filmmaking for me, stick to that. Like wedding filmmaking tutorials. That's what I did. The other thing I would say is make videos that you're passionate about. So oftentimes it's so easy to be like, oh, I think people want to watch this, so I'm going to make this video. Yeah. And then you got like 100 views and that's it, or 10 views, because nobody really wants to watch it. Yeah. And so what I found is that if I have a question and I cannot find an answer to it, I need to make a video about it.
Right, that's good.
And so, for example, I had Facebook came out with cover videos for their profile pages, really niche, obscure thing, but there was no video tutorials on how to create a cover video. So I was like, okay, hey, export your video using these settings, upload it here, it's gonna be great. And what's crazy is that I had a ton of people watch the video. It's got like 100,000 something views now because people were like, oh, I'm looking for this, and nobody else has made a tutorial about it. So if you have a question, like make stuff that you're passionate about, that you wanna see, other people watch it.
There's some great tips there. So Matt, thanks so much. And if people want to find out more about you, where can they find your channels and your socials?
Search Who Is Matt, WHOISMATT, basically anywhere except for Twitter, because some other guy took Twitter, so don't follow that guy.
No.
But otherwise, everything else, Instagram, YouTube, whoismatt.com, everything, that's all there.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Matt. Make sure you give Matt a subscribe. Make sure you follow him. And Matt, thank you so much for joining us today. It's an absolute pleasure.
Great meeting you guys.
You.
Thanks so much to Matt for that interview, but you're going to want to continue to watch the next one. It's with Ryan Connolly from Film Right, and he gives some real good filmmaking hacks and tips for YouTube channels as well. So you can watch that video coming up next. But if you want to watch the entire playlist, you can view that by clicking the little video link down here or the link in the description below the video. And remember, if you're a filmmaker and you want to speed up your editing, check out editorskeys.com for the latest shortcut keyboards and keyboard covers. But we'll see you in the next video.